Hi, Brian Pyle with HomeSafe. You know, most people talk about saving for retirement, and it's all about saving, saving, saving for retirement. Obviously, that's very important. And you've all heard the stories before, that if you start out saving just $100 a month when you're 18, you'll have a good nest egg for retirement when you get older. Now, that's absolutely true. The problem is, very few of us have actually begun to save when we were 18 each and every month for retirement. Now, I've got good news and bad news. I can't turn back the clock and make you younger, but I do have a strategy where you can, no matter how much you've saved, we can get more utility out of it. Now, here's the important thing to keep in mind. Everything you have saved in a qualified retirement account, an IRA, 401k, is 100% taxable when you distribute it, when you withdraw it. So, while your focus had been saving up until this point, now I want you to focus on how you're going to distribute those funds so that they last as long as possible and bring you as much value as possible. So we want to look at tax saving strategies. Here we go. Let's take a typical individual, and he's in retirement now, and he wants to distribute his IRA. Well, there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. We're going to show you both so you know the difference. First, let's say in this example, we've got a single individual. He lives in California, so his combined federal and state tax bracket, if he wants to take out $5,000 a month or $60,000 a year, that's going to push him up into a 31% tax bracket, actually just over 31% marginal tax bracket. He'll find that when he takes out his IRA 401k in that manner, he's going to take out $60,000. He's going to incur almost a $14,000 tax liability, and he's only going to net out about $46,000 that he can actually use for himself. Now, actually, this is the way most people distribute their IRA 401k. And it's not the right way. You're not going to get the most utility out of this. Let me show you another strategy where you can gain much more utility out of your existing IRAs, 401ks. Whether you've saved a little bit or a lot, the strategy may apply to you. So let's look at the better strategy here. A better strategy would be to voluntarily minimize your distributions out of your taxable account and combine them with a tax-free distribution from a reverse mortgage. By using a tax-free reverse mortgage with a taxable IRA or 401k and using them together, you're going to get more synergy than if you use them individually by themselves. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So, in our example, we would suggest that the client minimize his IRA 401k distributions so that he stays at a more minimal tax level. You can see here that if he takes out only $26,000 from his IRA 401k, he's holding himself to just an 18.6 marginal tax bracket compared to over 31% in the example above. Then he can take out $23,000 tax-free from a reverse mortgage and still end up with the exact same net after-tax income of $46,000 that he's looking for. Here's the big secret. He's now reduced his tax liability to just $4,200 compared to almost $13,900. That's almost a $10,000 a year savings in income tax alone right there. All right, so in our second slide here, we've got a graphical description of what's going on. In the first example, if you're taking funds only from your IRA 401k, the old school method, you've got to take $60,000 out of your account to net $46,000 after tax because of this large tax liability. That's just the way the tax system works. However, if you practice the new school method of combining a tax-free reverse distribution with your taxable IRA distribution and use them at the same time, you get more synergy out of both accounts. Here's what I mean. In this example, you only have to use about $50,000 some from the reverse, some from your IRA distribution, to net the same amount because you've dramatically reduced your income tax liability. All right, this last slide is probably the most important slide for you. We're showing two things here. We're showing the old school method of utilizing just your IRA 401k for retirement, and then we're utilizing the new technique of using a tax-free distribution from a reverse mortgage in conjunction with your distributions from IRA 401k and using them together at the same time to help reduce your income tax liability. Now look what a dramatic effect it has on your existing retirement assets. If we have a $500,000 account we're starting with, and it's growing at 5% annually, and you practice that old school method of taking funds just from your IRA 401k, and in the example above we were taking $5,000 a month, you're going to find that this account is nearly depleted over 10 years, and in fact won't even go 12 years. You'll be fully depleted over a 12-year or before a 12-year period of time. Perhaps the worst part about it is along the way you've wasted over $100,000 in income tax you didn't need to waste. A far better approach would be, again, utilizing distributions in conjunction with a tax-free reverse mortgage. The important part there is it's tax-free, so you can use it to dramatically reduce your income taxes. If you practice that approach, taking the same amount of money but just taking it from the two accounts, now you're preserving and prolonging your existing retirement accounts. Notice that in this example, you start with $500,000, and because you're not taking out as much and because you're conserving or preserving that $100,000 tax liability, you're actually avoiding it, your account's continuing to grow. Now at the end of 10 years, instead of having 500, you've got 528. Now I'll let you be the judge. Which one would be better for you? Having 528 at the end of 10 years or having 114,000 at the end of 10 years? It's obvious, folks. You're going to be far better positioned and prepared for retirement. In fact, you're going to have a far safer retirement by practicing this approach and having far more money in your account at the end of 10 years. This client, now at the end of 10 years, he can afford to give himself a raise to keep up with the cost of goods and services, inflation, so he can continue on with his retirement. And remember, along the way, he's preserved $100,000 in income tax. This client is facing some serious trouble. I hope this gives you a little understanding of how powerful a reverse mortgage can be for your retirement. And the fact is, almost each and every person should consider how the reverse mortgage can play a role and a part in their retirement. In this example here, it's helped this client save over $100,000 in income taxes and help preserve and prolong their existing retirement account. I'm sure your scenario and situation may be different, but no matter your situation, I'm confident we have a strategy or a solution that would make your retirement safer and stronger.